Hello. So I've done a lot of stuff online over the years. I have been around for like 20 years. I've done a lot of content in that time frame. I used to be big into blogging back in the 2000s. Multiple blogs, business blogs, niche blogs, all kinds of blogs. Writing, doing a lot of writing, right? And really there's very little that can go wrong there. You know, you have back then it was probably Microsoft Word. You had WordPress. You just build it all in there, write it all in there, do your editing, do all that stuff. But the actual tools you used were pretty straightforward, and you just hit publish, maybe add some images. Yeah. But not much can go wrong with that either, right? But now when you come to video, you wouldn't think so. A lot of people are going to tell you when you're first starting with video, and this is true actually. They're at its core, at the foundation, it is true. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about having the fanciest equipment. Don't worry about having whether that be audio or the video, the webcam. Don't worry about that stuff. Just get started, and it's true. It's true. You can use your phone. And most of us have phones with, at least in the U.S. here, I think more and more people around the world have phones with a video thing. So that is amazing, right? And you can start with that. And I did actually start with that. I actually was doing Instagram videos. I always forget that. Like I was doing Instagram videos on my Instagram account, Matt Levenhagen. For quite a while, I was using it as kind of a way for me to share my story as I, in the early days of my agency and how I was building that and lessons and stuff. But never really built a big following on Instagram, but I was doing that. But anyway, so as time goes on, I start the podcast and I start doing more and more video. This past year, I started doing, about 4 or 5 months ago, I started doing these extra videos on YouTube. I'm doing more and more video. So, which is great. In the beginning, again, I started with my podcast, started very simple, just using Zoom. Not worrying too much about it. And everything seemed to be working pretty well. Until it wasn't. Started doing video, still things were doing pretty good, but then I started having audio issues. And when I started having audio issues, it was a very frustrating experience. It takes a lot to get me worked up. I'm pretty laid back. I don't know if you can tell. Pretty laid back. Like stuff happens, we just deal with it, right? But this was one of those things that I just couldn't figure out. My audio was having all these crazy, it was cutting out, it was doing just poor audio. Sometimes it worked well, sometimes it didn't work well. It was like off and on. And I thought it was software. I tried all these, was it the solution I was using? I think I was using Riverside when this was starting to happen. And I don't know. I went through all this stuff, right? Turns out after probably months of this issue, off and on, I learned that it was this thing and I had to get a new one. I didn't know if I had to, right? I think the hardware stuff's the hardest because it's like, it's not telling you, it's lighting up, I don't know if it was a connection, a bad wire or what it was, but when I got a new blue, it's been working awesome since then. So that's great. Moving forward a few months to the last probably month or two, probably almost 2 months, I started having video issues. Now, and this was on Riverside. It started on Riverside and just got progressively worse because I moved over to Zencaster for a while, and I'm thinking about coming back here now because I think I fixed it. I don't know if you can tell, but the video's working. But it like in the last day, it completely crashed. I was getting like green screen. It was like this green overlay. It was all broken. It was... I'm like, is it the webcam? And I put the webcam on I got a PC over here. I got a MacBook Pro is what I work on. So that's like my workstation. And then I got this PC over here that's more personal stuff. But anyway, I tested stuff on there though. And I tested on there, worked perfect. and went back to here. I'm like, tried my old webcam, because now here's the thing with this issue is that I started by thinking it might be related to my internet, because it felt like it was lagging and all this stuff. And I had never had this issue until recently. It was lagging. It was doing all this stuff. And then it was like, I just had issue. We had failed. I had to like actually bail on on being on somebody else's podcast, because it just got so bad. Something happened and it just, messed up. And we couldn't finish because I was like super delayed, like 5 seconds. Like I'd move and 5 seconds later. And then I would have this intermittent like kind of issues since then. And sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't work. Went through, I upgraded my modem, I upgraded my internet, I upgraded, I cleaned up I made sure, and I do that anyway. Make sure everything's closed down, but also just got rid of a bunch of files, make sure there's enough room on my computer. Did all of this stuff. Diagnosing, Googling, everything. Couldn't figure it out. And then I think I would kind of figured it out, and then it would start happening again. And like yesterday, it just out of the blue just went. Like, I'm going to fail so hard that when you have a meeting today, you're going to have to not be on video because people aren't going to be able to see you. So that happened. And this turns out yesterday, again, couple hours blowing, right? So you got to be prepared for this, right? Couple hours blowing, just trying to diagnose this issue. And what I ended up doing is looking at all the apps on my computer. I don't think I had done that yet. And I realized I had installed over time some other video, audio related apps. Probably was testing something, trying something, maybe effects or something like that. I use G-Hub because I have a Logitech camera. I use G-Hub for that, and also controls this and gives me a little better audio and stuff. But I also had these other things in there. 5, 6. Well, I was actually probably a couple, and then I added a couple yesterday trying to fix this problem. Anyway, what if I uninstall those? Just let's clean things up, see if there's anything else in here that I need to clean up. So I started uninstalling things. And then I tested video, and the problem was gone. And in fact, the video is better than ever. Better than ever. No lag whatsoever. It's like perfect. What did I do? And then it dawned on me. I was like, well, I had installed all these programs or these apps, and maybe just because I didn't think they were on, right? Just because I didn't click something to open them up, they're working in the background. Maybe they're trying to take control. Now my thoughts, like, the techie in me, right? Conflicts. We have conflicts all the time in web development, right? Especially in WordPress, plug-in conflicts and things. What if there was some conflict where another program was competing for those resources or to take control of the camera and stuff? That is my theory. Now, knock on wood. Let's hope that is actually the thing. Because I think over the past several months, I have said, I have solved this problem. And then it comes creeping back. But I have a really good feeling about this. But the whole point of this video is that, yes, in the beginning, it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have the perfect setup. For me, as time went on, I have wanted to upgrade because I'm in the 80s with my episodes of The Builders, and I want to be more professional. I want to look more professional. That's why I can't use the MacBook Pro webcam from 2018. I have a 4-year-old MacBook Pro. That's the one thing that I'm trying really hard not to update. I want to keep this Mac as long as I can, right? I've thought about it because I need to fix these problems, but anyway, so I'm working on that, and I've slowly though, like, improved. Like, I got this, I got, a better webcam, and slowly improve that stuff. I'm using Riverside. And so what happens, right, is your business, and this is really where I'm getting into the core of this, your business starts to depend on it, because this podcast, these videos, are an important part of not only our content, but it's how we network, how we, get people on the podcast, build relationships and do all that. It's becoming a very important part of our business. And we do it on a regular basis. I show up every week, 3 times a week to do, well, technically, right? We got the podcast and then we got a couple of these videos on YouTube. That's what I'm doing every single week. And when this breaks down, I don't have a choice but to drop everything and try to fix it, because we need to keep going with that. That's just, it's what we do. We're committed to doing it, right? And I'm a very big proponent of being consistent and constantly showing up. And I'm sorry if you hear my dog snoring in the background. I'm trying to like move her as I'm talking so she wakes up a little bit. You can sleep after we're done, okay, dear? Anyway, but that's the thing. So you have to be prepared for that, though. And sometimes it's, again, being in tech, being a web developer, we're pretty good at troubleshooting things. We can figure just about anything out because we know the routine. We know how to do it, right? We've done it. But this is a situation like in web development, websites, we don't have necessarily the hardware to worry about unless we're browser testing or something. But in this case, my brain goes to, okay, it must be the software. It must be something related. Maybe there's an issue with Riverside. Maybe this, my brain's going to other things. Oh, it's my internet. Let me just upgrade my internet now, which is awesome, by the way. So after all this, now I have a much cleaner computer and much faster internet. So actually, we're going to leave it that way, I think. But, you have to be prepared for all that, though, because when it becomes a more and more important part of your business and something that you rely on for your marketing, and videos becoming more important for everybody, you have to be prepared. You have to understand that sometimes things are going to go sideways, and it's very frustrating because, especially like I want to be on other people's podcasts and stuff. I needed to really solve this issue, but my brain did not go to, oh, it's a conflict. Because I can see what's active, right? I can see what else I have open. But if it's an app that for whatever reason doesn't need to be open to be working in the background, that probably was the problem. So it's very, just like this. I tried everything. I'm like, it was a Blue mic as well, Yeti. And I'm like, I had it for several years and it worked great. Like, it can't be that. Maybe it can be. So sometimes you just have to keep trying things until, especially like yesterday, I didn't have a choice. I had to drop everything because I literally did not have video. And again, I wasn't going to use the MacBook Pro webcam for 2018. It's horrible. I don't know what. It was like if they had webcams in 2005, that's what it looks like. It's just like what I would have expected it to be a little higher quality with Apple. Anyway, that's all for today. I hope you found that interesting. I just wanted to share that story because it's just, I think it's important. It can be applied to a lot of different things. As something becomes more and more important, you're going to have to be prepared in your business. Sometimes you're going to have to block that time to really take care of those things, especially in this context where I don't have anybody in-house here to help me with tech stuff. I'm the tech guy. The tech guy online, I'm the tech guy in my office. So I suppose I could bring in somebody outside to figure this stuff out. I actually did think about that for a minute. Like, do I need to hire somebody? But I'm a do-it-yourselfer first. But I figured it out. I learned a lot in the process. Now I know. Now you know. Till next time, take care.